Good morning, good morning, everybody. What's going on, Brother Keith? What's going on, Sister Cannon? Sister Michelle, Sister Sherry, Willingham, good morning. AOP, Sister Tammy, Sister Shirley, Kematone, good morning. Sister Patricia, and Brother Gerard. Sister Wiggins, good morning, everyone. Big Cannon, good morning, sir. Deacon Lloyd, good morning, everybody. Hopefully everybody is well. What's going on, Miss Misty, Jones family? Keisha, Bowling Green in the house. Tell Clarksville I said good morning. Good morning, everyone. Give everybody a couple seconds before we go ahead and get started. What's going on, Sister Callis from Dallas? Miss Erica, good morning. Good morning. What's going on, Miss Deborah? Tell the family I said good morning. Well, I've got 6:31, so we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. What's going on, Reverend Leela, Reverend Wanda? Hopefully everybody is having a blessed day. Your week has been productive. It has been a blessing. What's going on, Brother Brian? I got one of my helpers in here with me this morning. One of my sons is here. The other one is gone. So E-Man in here holding down the fort for me, all by his lonesome, bored to death probably. But that's all right. He just in here trying to make some money. Make money. I want to say he here for the Lord, but I think he here for that cash advancement. But anyway, just want to this morning follow up on something that we discussed last night. Let me turn this recording on. That we discussed last night in Bible study. One of the things I think also with Bible study that I miss extremely, I miss wholeheartedly is the interaction that we had, the interaction that we used to have in person. And so it was good last night that people were able to chime in and share their perspective and interact and not just be a blessing to just share their opinions or their viewpoint, but also be a blessing to someone else. So that was good that we had people that were able to do that, and we were able to do that, and they were able to share their experiences. But one thing I want to point out is that in the beginning, God did bless mankind. He did bless the animal kingdom. He did bless creation because he looked at it, he said it was good, and he blessed it. And part of his blessing was the continuation of it, the reproduction, the ongoing aspect of life. But there's one other thing I want us to pay attention to that my beautiful bride brought up as well, and that is when he consecrated the Sabbath, he blessed it. When he blessed the Sabbath day, on that holy day, that day of rest. And obviously we know if God is omnipotent, if he's all powerful, he didn't tire himself out in those first 6 days. It's like he didn't go, woof, I'm tired, I need to sit down and take a break. We understand that the rest that God took on the Sabbath was to consecrate it, to bless it. And remember, part of being blessed can also be part of being consecrated, which means to be set apart for something specific or particular use or purpose. And so when we see God blessing the Sabbath and setting it apart, the thing about the Sabbath, if you all remember, that is a time that we are supposed to enjoy the blessings that God has given to us. And if you remember, right before I tell them, Sister Cannon, right before we started, right before all this COVID stuff started, the last, I'm just gonna go ahead and say, man, the Lord, he was on to something. The last 2 messages we preached was on the Sabbath, the 7th year, and on the year of Jubilee. That kind of time where God was saying, I need you to take your hands off of it. I want to reset it. I want to reset some things. I'm going to provide for you. I want to use this time to show the rest of the world that I am your God. And so, one of the things I want us to do as the people of God is realize also that in all of this, because we even now we live real busy, hectic lives, and school's about to start back up. And so, we got people that are wrestling with this challenge of homeschooling and working a full-time job. And, what are we going to do with all these things that are looming and trying to make sense of it? We should never allow ourselves to be so busy or so distracted that we don't enjoy our blessings. When God blesses us, He intends for us to enjoy it. And there are some people that have no problem with this. They walk in it, they enjoy it, they don't have a care in the world, and it's just easy going. And then you got people like myself, who need to just sometimes pause, chill, relax, and enjoy. And when we see in the New Testament, the Sabbath wasn't necessarily meant to be on that day. It wasn't just about that day as much as it was about the principle of the matter of resting and enjoying what God has done in your life. And so when we see this in the creation story, I figure that, Sis Cannon. And when we see this in the creation story, and when we see this played out, especially in the book of Deuteronomy, when he was talking about the year of Jubilee in the 7th year, and how the Lord said you need to let the land rest, and how God was going to bless them. In our rest comes a supernatural blessing. In our rest, we have time to reflect on the things that God has done. And, if some of us, present company especially, can be guilty of working so much that you don't get to enjoy the blessings that God has actually afforded you. We can actually consider some of our blessings as distractions. My children can be a distraction. My husband can be a distraction. My wife can be a distraction. That the things that God has blessed us with, if we're not careful, if we don't periodically take time to rest and to enjoy, those blessings can seem as though they are burdens. And so I think God was onto something when he was telling them in the beginning, when he set as a model, when he put in his covenantal relationship with the children of Israel, I want you all to rest and enjoy the blessings. I want you to rest and enjoy what I've done for you, how I've moved the relationship. I want you to rest. And it's looking like that the Lord has forced us to take a year of Jubilee where he's kind of shut some things down and broken up the routine. And I think the amazing thing about this, we have some who have experienced being furloughed, laid off, all these things. But then you have some who have reported like, man, God is still providing. God is still blessing. God is blessing me more in this than he was prior to this. And I think that kind of goes back to where the Lord was saying, look, I'll give you enough to make sure that it sustains you for the next 2 years if you trust me, if you're willing to just to walk in my word and believe in me. And we remember our blessings, the blessings that God gives to us, they are to be enjoyed. And the reason that some of us, we have a hard time with it because we realize we're not worthy. We realize that we don't deserve the blessings. We realize that we're not, that there are certain, we could think of all the reasons why we don't deserve them and who's better than us and whatever, all those things. But God, look here. If God wants to bless you, that's God's prerogative. If God wants to give you favor, look here, that's God's prerogative. If God opens up a door for you and he kicks that thing off the hinges and allows you to walk in it, that's God's prerogative. If God has given you a particular season in your life that is extremely good, and sometimes we feel as though we have to be careful because sometimes some people feel guilty. Then some people almost feel embarrassed about the blessing. Then some people realize you don't really have anybody that you can share it with. Understand that when God blesses us, simply enjoy it. Because you remember, sometimes some things are temporal. Simply enjoy it, whatever it is. I remember when we started the construction, and Pastor Patton called me, and he said, "Man, you got that glow on you." He said, "Brother," he said, "enjoy it." He said, "You got that Moses." He said, "Your face is shining." He said, "You got that glow on." He said, "Man, enjoy it." He said, "Cause when it fades away, it's gonna be gone." He said so, and he literally came and said, "I just want to hang around you for the next couple of days while the glow was on you." Made me feel like I was Bruce Leroy. He said, "Cause when it's gone, it's gone." So he said, "Just enjoy it, bro." He said, "Just enjoy it." And I say this to all of us, as we're in this series of, as we're looking at this on Wednesday nights of blessings, curses, and soul ties. Man, take the time out for the next several days. Just enjoy your blessings. Just enjoy it. Let your mind be at ease. Stop worrying. And y'all understand something. Understand something. This is me talking to me. Sometimes I had to quiet my mind and still my mind to simply enjoy what God is already doing around me and the people that God has placed in my life. And I want to challenge all of us. Some people we can get to looking, and that's one of the reasons that covetousness, and we're going to talk about that a little bit this Sunday, is such a problem because when I'm so focused on what somebody else has and somebody else is doing, that kind of hinders me being able to enjoy what God is doing in my life. And so, or when I'm comparing myself, all these things, there are so many ways that the enemy robs us of enjoying our blessings and enjoying the goodness of our God. But I'm just here to tell you, if God has blessed you, if God has opened doors for you, if God is moving in your life, enjoy it. Just take the day, say, you know what? There's somebody on your job right now. All they do is complain. I wish we didn't have to come in here. But you realize, man, I know people that got laid off. I know people that were furloughed. I'm enjoying it. I remember one time, my wife and I, we were feeling extremely overwhelmed at one point in time with our children and everything we had going on. I'm thinking, whoa, this is rough. And then we had a conversation with someone. She had spoke with someone who had just had a miscarriage, and it took us back to those years when I think we had like 3 miscarriages back to back. And I realized, I said, man, we're sitting up here literally, we have blessings that we're not enjoying because our perspective is skewed. It took us being jolted by seeing somebody else going through the pain that we went through, to realize that, man, we asked the Lord for this. Some of you have actually asked God for something. God has granted it to you, and now you ain't happy. Now you're not enjoying it. Now you talk about how miserable you are. That's not how this thing works. Sometimes we need to step back, pause, and enjoy it. When we did the game night, and I was sitting down there with the kids, and we took the pictures and stuff, and we playing Uno and Mario Kart. And granted, my Mario Kart skills used to be on 10. Now your boy lucky to finish in the top 5. My baby girl, my boys, they beat me in Mario Kart. E-Man and Nora beat me in Mario Kart. But it was good to pause and enjoy our blessings. And so I would say to all of you, and Brother Johnny brought up a question last night, and blessings take on many shapes, forms, and sizes. They can be material, immaterial. They could be a person, they could be a thing, it could be a state of mind, it could be a job, whatever it is, whatever the blessing is that God has allowed you to walk in or have, enjoy it. And we know that in the creation story from the very beginning, it was the intent, it's in the heart and the mind of God to bless us. And so I want to encourage us this morning that whatever your blessing is, and if y'all can, just do me a favor. Just type 1 or 2 of your blessings in the comment section. Because another thing that I've realized is that there are folks that are blessed and they don't know they're blessed. And I've ran into people like that. Lynn Kennedy, when I said, man, you blessed, and he didn't even know he was blessed. I was a little sour at first because I was just, but I asked him, I said, man, who your folks? Because I said, you blessed, man. He looked at me. He said, I never really considered that. I said, I'm looking at it. I consider you blessed. And when he told me that his dad was a deacon in the church and what his dad did and all that stuff, I said, that's what it is. I said, man, your parent, whatever your parents have done, the blessings of God are on your life and you're walking in favor. And truth be told, since I met him, since then, this brother has had several good jobs. I mean, what they say, there's a job, then there's good paying jobs. He has several good jobs, and he's got a good job now. And so, we sometimes we need to be encouraged and encourage one another to remind us and to remind one another of our blessings. And so I just say to us this morning, as we go out, as we start out this day, with all this negativity, with all this confusion, with all these problems that are going on in the world, all this hatred, all this bickering, and people are always so ready to stir the pot, and it's just so much contention, and just it just makes me sick sometimes. But man, what a blessing it is when we just stop, pause, and say, God, thank you. God, I want to say thank you because I've got the activity of my limbs. I used to think that when the old folk used to get up as Zion Missionary Baptist Church, when they say, Lord, I want to thank you for being clothed in my right mind. I used to think, well, man, when I was in my 20s and my early 20s, I'm thinking clothed in your right mind. I said, why would you even say it like that? What sense does that make? But when I saw my mother battle with dementia, battle with Alzheimer's, lose the activity of her limbs, not have a reasonable portion of health and strength. It puts things in perspective. As I was sitting by there, and when she, when she was, when she passed, and to feel the warmth go from her body, and looking back, I said, man, there are a lot of things that we take for granted. Some of us right now, there are relationships that we're in that we take for granted. There are people in our lives that we've become so accustomed to, so used to, we take for granted. And once it's gone, it's gone. It's gone. And remember, some things are temporal. And so I would just challenge all of us, every last one of us. There are some people in your family. There are some people that you're living with. There are some people that you work with. You've not told them thank you. You've not shared with them how much they've been a blessing to you. You've not allowed them to be a part, or sometimes we dim our lights a little bit, or we play down what God is doing in our lives. And I don't understand. We don't want to be braggadocious. But every now and then Jesus says, he said, the reason I gave you a light is not to put it under a bushel, is that you can shine, be a city on a hill. Jesus told them in the Old Testament, he said, the reason that I'm blessing you is because I want all nations to call you blessed. And check this out. When he blessed them in Egypt, as he was pulling them out of Egypt during the Exodus, there were some Egyptians that said, hey, I want your God to be my God. And sometimes the blessing ain't even about you. Rahab said, we heard about you. We've heard about you. Rahab said, I want your God to be my God. The people of Nineveh in the book of Jonah, when they heard the message of the true and living God, they repented because they saw the blessing. They wanted Israel's God to be their God. And so I just want to challenge us this morning. Some of you all, and I know it, you are blessed beyond measure. You have favor. And I just say, walk in it. I just say, enjoy it. I just say, man, you know what? And if you're not, and maybe right now you don't feel like particularly blessed, you feel like you're going through and you don't feel like, I would encourage you this. Hang around blessed folk. Hang around folk that are experiencing God. Hang around folk that are seeing God move. Hang around folk that have a relationship with God, that are walking in the favor of God. They know how to get in touch with God. That know his name, know who he is, know how to call on him. And I say this before I pray. When we were at Mesquite Friendship, that was one of the mothers of the church, and mother was up there in years. Oh, she was old, but mother, I mean, she was like in her 80s and 90s. But mother had a clean Cadillac, would drive her ride, would go bowling. I mean, was living her best life. And she shared with us, and she was sharing about her husband because, and this is, I got to agree with his logic, because her husband was not a tither. He did not believe in tithing, but she did. And so he didn't believe in tithing. So he didn't tithe. He wasn't really into all that stuff and church and all that stuff, but she was. And so she tithed, she served the Lord. And, and finally, I guess she asked him a question and was like, well, why? And he was, why are you not doing this? Or why don't you do this? Or God's not going to do this for you, or this might hinder us. And he basically told her, look, all the, Sister Callis know who I'm talking about. All this stuff that, and he basically said, look, at all this stuff that you're doing, if God blesses you, he gonna bless me too, because I'm your husband. He had enough sense to realize that because of you, I'm going to be blessed. That my relationship with you, I'm going to get some of that trickle down overflow. And when David said, my cup runs over, what I've realized, there are seasons where I'm going to be the cup, and then there are seasons where I'm not going to be the cup. So I just want to be somebody else's saucer. I want to catch their overflow and their spillage. And so what I'm saying is that if I find myself in a season where it seems like God is dormant in my life or nothing is happening, I put myself in the company, in the presence of others, and be careful, because you don't want to do that and get jealous and get bitter and have resentment. But I will put myself in the company of others to remind me how able my God is, even when I'm not experiencing it firsthand. I can get happy off of somebody else's blessing, because it lets me know that God is still in the blessing business. And so whatever it is, if you say, man, I don't really have no blessings to enjoy right now, enjoy someone else's blessing. It's when you can celebrate with someone else. And that was something about the nation of Israel. And that's why I miss, one of the reasons I miss gathering like we used to, because it was good to feed off one another and to enjoy one another, and to hear somebody say hallelujah, to see somebody else very expressive in their walk with God, or see somebody. We miss that. We need to share in one another's blessings. Please hear me. If you say right now, I don't feel particularly blessed, find you someone that is. And I've learned as a pastor, I seek out individuals who are blessed, who are better than me, who are smarter than me, who've been around longer than me, who have, because my thing is, I need to see what God is doing in their life to encourage me in mine at times. And so I just say that to all of us. Enjoy your blessings. And if you can't enjoy your blessing, man, look at, share in the joy with somebody else's blessing. Don't be envious. Don't be jealous. Be truly happy. And there are those of us, man, when you have somebody that you can share your heart with, and that, they can truly be happy for you, that in and of itself is a blessing. That in and of itself is a blessing. And so, man, we're just grateful that God has blessed us. And and so what I want to do, if we can, I feel like we should have one of them old good old fashioned testimony services. If you can this morning, what I like to do something just a little bit different. In the comment section, for those of you who have not done so already, just type in the comment section just 2 things that you're grateful for. Just 2 things that you're thankful for. Just 2 things that God has done for you that just have blown your mind. Or maybe there are things that God has done that you've taken it for granted, that you've not appreciated it. And I realize that some of our blessings have become so routine that we forget how great and awesome they are. And it's not until we lose it that we realize that how great it was and how good it was. Man, we don't want to have to lose our blessing to know how good it was. We want to acknowledge it right now and run with that thing. And I'm gonna tell you, it hit different. It hits different when the old folk used to say, "I'm clothed in my right mind." And it's funny because now my children will call me old, but I'm not. I'm just middle aged. I'm clothed in my right mind and have the activity of my limbs. When you see somebody that's not, when you see somebody that can't, you realize, man, it is a blessing. And there may come a day where I'm not clothed in my right mind. There may come a day where I don't have the activity of my limbs. And so while we have whatever it is that we have, and while we can do whatever it is that we can do, and while we can enjoy whatever it is that we can enjoy, thank God for it. Walk in your blessings, live in your blessings, and enjoy your blessings. And that's all I ask. Just enjoy your blessings in this crazy, messed up world. We're not going to buy into the commentary of everyone else and everything else. We're simply going to enjoy the things that God has given to us and how he's moving in our lives. And so this idea of blessings, I just want us to enjoy it. So you guys be blessed for one, and let's walk in it. And I mean, I'm about to go for my little 5-mile walk this morning, and sometimes just walking in nature. And if you don't have space to really contemplate and enjoy, you got to carve some time out to get alone with God and to listen or to enjoy the things that God has given to you, and get away from the rat race, and to still your mind, which is extremely difficult to do, and just enjoy it, because God has been good to us. And I know that there are those on this call who don't feel like that, who are struggling. You're in a difficult season. You're in a rough season. Things are not panning out the way that you thought they should or you wish they would. I would encourage you to find someone else that you can share that with, or find someone who you think like, man, they really got it going on, and just glean from them, learn from them, enjoy them, watch them. Growing up, we didn't have a Nintendo, but they didn't stop me from playing Nintendo. I had a friend that had a Nintendo, and so I was at his house every day playing Contra. I said, if I can't get one, at least I can enjoy yours. And that's all I'm saying. Enjoy someone else's blessing, so that we can have the things, so we can see what God is doing around us, in us and through us. So you guys be blessed. You have a good one. Sister Stratford and I'll be on here tomorrow. And I just want to encourage all of us this morning, walk in your blessings and enjoy it. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, do so. In the next coming weeks, I'm just going to start putting out 5-minute encouraging prayers, just 5-minute encouraging prayers on YouTube that people can listen to, be encouraged by, and blessed. It's just going to be a 5-minute prayer that I'm going to start putting out just to encourage people, hopefully to put some positivity and some encouragement back into this world that we're living in. So you guys be blessed. You have a good one, and we will see you tomorrow. Be